This is the Gutsy Health Podcast with Janique and Tristan Roney. Hey guys, welcome back to the Gutsy Health Podcast.
You guys, we are doing the clickbaitiest headline today, but it is legit good stuff. So please stick around.
This is Tristan's idea.
It was totally my idea because here's the deal. I was listening to someone talk about, I don't even know what they were talking about, but it was like 5 things you need to do for blah, blah, blah. And I was like, gosh dang, that sounds really intriguing to me. Well, so I listened to it and it was really valuable.
No, this is what Tristan does. He sends me a voice message over text and he's like, we need to do a 10 things everyone needs to do to make their year better. And I'm like, that's a lot of things for people to do. Can we keep it at 5?
I still think we should do 10, but we're only going to tell you 5. So if you want the other 5, you're going to have to contact me and ask for them. Janique won't let me talk about them.
I don't have the mental bandwidth to like come up with 10 things and talk about it in one episode.
We came up with 10.
We've come up with so many things. Anyways, right. Okay, guys. Stick around to listen for an incredible coupon code at the end where we share something with you guys. But
we're not going to tell them what it is.
Oh yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
We relaunched our membership.
We did
this week and it's awesome.
It's pretty freaking awesome.
We've had a team on it. This is weird for us to say. We have a team. And the team has been working really hard on this.
Typically the team is like me and Tristan. But right. Now we have like a team, like people outside of us.
We have a real team right. And there's been a lot of hours that have gone into making this membership. Like it was good. It was really good before. Now it is incredible.
It really is.
It is a super experience. It's a 6-month thing and we'll talk about it at the end. But anyway, at the end, we're also going to talk about how you can save a whole bunch of money on it if you want to do it.
Exactly.
So don't go anywhere.
Really quick. The membership is just like training you how to be like a nutrition hero. It's teaching you how to eat healthy, be healthy, like figure out what is healthy for me, what isn't healthy for me. Like we go over and I say all the same things over and over, like on Instagram and right now, but like we go over like what oils are inflammatory, how to identify them, like the difference between like unsaturated and saturated fats, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats, hydrogenated oils. Right. Like what's the difference? Like when you're eating a food, which oil are you getting? Which one is the most inflammatory for you? Not only that, but you get meal planners so that you don't even have to think about it. You know, these are healthy for you right. And you just have to tweak it. Anyways, it's really fantastic. The online community is going to be amazing. We have a private Instagram group where we're going to have guests on every week.
Well, it's an Instagram page because there's no such thing as an Instagram group.
What did I say? Instagram page.
Yeah, it's a page because there's also a Facebook group,
yes.
Right? And the group is more for community interaction, right. But the Instagram page is where we're going to be doing some really exclusive content, good stuff in there.
Exactly. Like having guests on to interview, like hormone specialists, psychologists. I mean, you name it, they're going to be on there. So it's going to be awesome. Probably people that you guys already know of. And so it's going to be really fun to just like pick their brains. Anyways, okay, let's get into this week's episode.
5 things you need to do today to improve your health in 2020.
Woo, that sounds so exciting.
Click me. All right.
So what is number 1, Tris?
I don't know. You have the list. I told you I don't know.
It's clean out your pantry, guys.
Clean out your pantry. Okay. So
why is this important?
I know that doesn't sound sexy. And in fact, it may even make you groan a little bit to think about it because if your pantry is anything like our pantry was, there's so much stuff in there.
Actually, we didn't clean it out. Your mom did.
Well, okay. So when we first started, yeah, you're right. My mom came in and did it, which is kind of how things work in our household. If it's going to get done, someone else is probably going to come and do it.
No, that's not true. No. So what happened was when Tristan was diagnosed with cancer, you guys are going to get a lot of stories. When he was diagnosed, his mom flew in from Texas and she basically she's like, I'm just going to start throwing things out. And I was like, great. I just don't explain it to me. Just, tell me what you're filling it with. And so she threw out everything. She put it in a pile and she was like, you see, that's processed. That's that. And then she replaced it with nuts and seeds and veggies and spices and things that just seemed way too exotic for me because it was more complex than driving through to Chick-fil-A. And yes, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah. We thought we were healthy.
Because I got like the gluten-free Chick-fil-A.
we did the organic chicken nuggets for Tennyson every day.
So yeah, don't remind me. Anyways, so you guys, cleaning out the pantry is really important because it's kind of like an upfront contract between you and your food. And if it's out of sight, out of mind, right? If it's not in your house, you're not going to eat it. And that's actually a really big commitment. It's bigger than you realize. And so having to make that decision of this food is no longer worth it for me and I'm just going to throw it out. Don't even give it to maybe give it to your neighbor. But I'm like, why poison them? Yep. So like, just throw it out or donate it or something.
Give it to the food pantry or wherever. But here's what's so great about doing that is that you will then put things in your pantry that you would be proud to eat.
Right.
Right. Because that's the key is that when you get hungry, angry, lonely, tired, bored, you name it. And suddenly you're like, I need to eat something.
Yep.
What are you going to go for? It's not going to be, I'm going to go and whip up a really healthy salad.
You're going to eat crackers over an apple.
You're going to eat something that's very convenient. And if what is convenient is
goldfish,
highly processed and highly delicious food, if we're honest.
Yeah.
Sugar and processed like goldfish, like Johnny was saying, then that's what you're going to eat. But if that isn't there, bam, you've solved your problem already.
Exactly.
You might be a little bit bummed out in that moment, but then if you do find an apple instead or some celery and nut butter, then...
Or apple and nut butter. The one thing we did the other night was apple and like nutso and then some of the... Lily's stevia sweetened chocolate chips. Like you put like four little chocolate chips on that dipped apple and it's so good. It tastes so good, you guys.
We binged. Oh my gosh.
So bad. Replacing pasta with something as simple as like kelp noodles, and
those kelp noodles are so fast. Especially if you have broth happen to be lying around, you just heat up the broth, throw in the noodles, let them cook until they're just the right amount of tender.
Right.
And then bam, you've got yourself a delicious ramen soup.
Yep.
And it's going to be so much healthier than top ramen.
Yep. One thing I do with our pantry with our kids, because a lot of people are like, well, what do my children eat? There's a place in my pantry where I put the fruit. And if my kids are hungry, they grab a fruit. They grab an apple. They grab a banana. They grab a clementine. They can grab nuts and seeds. Granted, Satori likes to just throw them on the floor and create patterns.
Full of seeds.
so she's our artsy child, and all of her messes are like her canvases.
We found a handful of sunflower seeds in our dryer lint trap yesterday,
and then cashews in my shoes in the closet. She's a mess, and she like draws on walls. Tennyson was never like that. He was like our books and trucks kid.
But anyway, but it is nice to have kids. I'd rather have my kids playing with nuts and seeds than eating goldfish and pretzels.
I mean, it's experiential for them, right? And they have some autonomy when they have access to the nuts and the seeds and the fruits and whatnot, like they can pick whatever they want and they can eat as much. If like our kids go through bananas so fast.
It's true. We actually have to move the bananas slightly out of reach and out of sight. Otherwise they'll go through a whole bunch in a day.
They totally will.
Not really ideal. So we try to avoid that, but you know what? Better the bananas than popsicles.
Like they're getting vitamins, minerals, incredible fiber to feed that gut biome.
Yeah. We also keep beef sticks in the pantry.
Oh, yeah.
Although it's also hard to keep the beef sticks around. So
oh my gosh.
Right now we don't have any. They're gone again.
I know we need to order more. Our favorite beef sticks, if you're wondering, because you guys, nuts, seeds, fruits, beef sticks, they are fast food. Like grab and go. Literally takes 10 seconds to walk over there and grab it and eat it, right? Our favorite kind is the Paleo Valley beef sticks, and they have the turkey sticks. There's tons of flavors. My kids like the summer sausage and the teriyaki. They go through that like crazy. You guys, it's great protein.
Yeah.
Great protein for kids versus carby, sugary crap, right?
Yeah.
Processed crap.
Yeah.
And so if you use Prova Health 10, you can get 10% off your order.
Yeah, you can't find these in retail stores.
No.
You can only get them online. But that's kind of cool because they get shipped right to your door.
Exactly.
So paleovalley.com, look for the beef sticks. They also have turkey sticks.
Yeah.
And yeah, Provo Health 10, give you 10% off.
But that's what I always tell. I tell moms, like, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding and you are feeding everyone else but yourself, and yet you're the one that needs the calories, put beef sticks in your car, in your purse, next to your bed, in your pantry, on top of the fridge, like in the couch, guys. And as soon as you get like that inkling of like hunger pain, like grab a beef stick or two and eat it. Yeah. And all you have to do is peel a wrapper and throw it on the floor or in the trash.
In our house, I have to walk around the house at night before bed picking up wrappers from the beef sticks specifically, and clementine peels.
Right. Oh my gosh, clementine peels. Anyways, so you guys, cleaning up the pantry, yeah, it's a little bit of a big commitment, but it's like, have that heart to heart with yourself and just realize, if it's not in my house, I'm most likely not going to eat it. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the best gifts you can give yourself is like, just get it gone. Mm-hmm. You know what's really interesting? Mm-hmm. It's like Pavlov's dogs. Mm-hmm. I know my dad has a junk drawer. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I walk into, and you guys think I'm really healthy, and I am, but I have a Pavlov's dog mentality. I walk in the house, I just look in his drawer. I just look to see what he has. I don't even eat it.
Usually something in there.
Like if there's a South African treat, yeah, I'm going to eat it, And so I will look. And if it's like, Trader Joe's chocolate, I'm like, meh. But it's funny because as soon as I walk through that door, my first thought is, what's in his drawer?
What's in the drawer?
And I'll go straight to their bedroom and I'll look in the drawer because I'm curious.
My dad used to have a cupboard like that. And it was the same thing. Every time I walked into my parents' house, I would go straight to that cupboard. Mm-hmm. What's dad been buying lately?
Right.
And there was always something really fun in there.
Right. Well, no, we don't have that anymore.
Well, I wouldn't do that anymore. And he doesn't do that anymore. So
he doesn't?
No. I think my mom made him put it on the garage instead.
That's hilarious.
So now he has to hide it in the garage, but he's actually been really good too. So
that's great.
So clean out your pantry.
Yep.
Get rid of the triggers.
Yeah.
And you will be so grateful. And maybe we should have had this conversation 3 months ago before everyone was trapped in their house with all those triggers. Mm-hmm. By now, you don't have anything left in the pantry because you ate it all when you were snacky. Right? But if you haven't already gotten rid of it or eaten it, then now is the time. Mm-hmm. Just do it.
There you go.
Get a bunch of healthy stuff that you would be very happy to eat and not feel bad about later. And voila.
There you go.
Healthier you already.
Okay. What's next?
What is next?
Start meal prepping, guys.
Okay.
So it takes a little bit of work up front. Mm-hmm. It's going to save you so much money. I do meal prepping every week. I do it for my members. It saves you tons and tons of money, tons of time, tons of mental fatigue. Mm-hmm. I mean, so yeah, you can go on Pinterest and like pick out your menus, you can download apps or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can join the membership, but really you guys do whatever floats your boat and helps you get there.
Yeah.
But prep.
Here's the thing. You don't have to be fancy with it.
No.
In fact, there's a lot of psychology in what we're talking about today. By the way, we already mentioned the Pavlov's dogs thing, but there's also present you versus future you. Mm-hmm. Like you can prioritize present you, which means that you'll do whatever's convenient and easy now, but it'll come at the expense of future you where you'll have a lot of regret. Or you can flip that around and you can say, I'm going to do future me a big favor. Yeah. I'm going to put in the work now so that later on, when I'm really busy because it's the middle of the work week, everything is already set up for me.
There you go.
Yay.
Exactly.
And the other thing that goes into this is if you want to, you can literally create a whole week's worth of essentially the same meals.
Right.
Right. It doesn't have to be a new fancy thing every single day.
No.
And not everyone will be able to do this. Some people just need a little bit more variety, and some people for their health's sake should get more variety. Yeah. But if you're just getting started and you're overwhelmed and you want to meal prep, but you are just terrified of the prospect of making 7 different things, fine. Pick one thing, make enough of it to eat for the whole week. Yeah. Make sure it's healthy and has a variety of vegetables and proteins and things like that, healthy fats. But do that, throw it in baggies in the fridge, and bam, you are done with your meal prep for the whole week.
One thing, 2 things I'm going to share with you guys right now. The one is way more simple. Cut up broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, onions. What else? There's another
celery,
one.
If you like,
or
carrots,
bell peppers. Put them in baggies, and then dinner time comes around, grab a bunch of those veggies, put it on a tray, put your oven on 400 and bake it for 20 minutes in a little bit of olive oil.
Or stir fry it on the stove top for 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Right?
But all you're doing is like pulling out the baggies, pulling out the already cut vegetables and baking them or sauteing them or however you're doing it.
So in other words, it doesn't have to be full meal prep even.
No.
You can just prep the tricky parts, which is cutting stuff up. And it's not even tricky. It's just that you never feel like doing it in the moment.
Right.
But on the weekend, when you don't really have anywhere you have to be or something you must be doing, get it done.
What I like to do is once my kids are sleeping, I put a show on, like whatever show I want, because that's the only time I get to watch TV. Actually,
oh really? You have time to watch TV?
Actually, I haven't lately. Not lately. I've been working late.
You've been working on the membership.
I have actually. But another thing you can do for prepping, and this is what I tell everyone, all of my clients, is on the weekend, make a big pot of bone broth and then turn that bone broth into a massive pot of soup and then freeze half of that soup for the latter half of the week. And then pull out that soup whenever you're hungry, warm up a bowl and eat it. Warm it up on the stove, not in the microwave. Don't destroy all of those nutrients. But you guys, it's so easy. Like I have so many great recipes I've shared on Instagram. I mean, we have a couple of free downloadable meal planners that you can download that have soups in them. But soup is so fast. And if I can eat soup in the middle of summer in Texas, you can eat soup throughout the year, guys, because
it's not that bad.
It's really not that bad. I mean, people eat burgers year round. People eat hot dogs year round. Those are warm.
Yeah.
People eat burritos year round.
What is the most popular 4th of July meal?
Pizza?
A barbecue.
Oh, a barbecue. Okay.
A barbecue, which is going to be burgers and hot dogs.
I'm clearly not American, guys. I didn't.
She is American, everybody. She's just new to this American thing.
I just assume pizza goes with everything.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people do pizza too.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But if you ask the average American, what do you do for food on the 4th of July? Well, you barbecue.
I've only been American since 2012.
She's only had 8 years.
Only 8 years.
Give her a break.
I should know these things.
She's only had like 20 4th of Julys in America.
Actually, it's been like 18.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, so a little bit of meal prepping goes a long way. All right.
The other thing that's really important psychology-wise in this is the concept of decision fatigue. And we talk about this a lot in regards to the membership. This is the number one reason why we created the membership, is to help people reduce decision fatigue, because every decision you have to make throughout your day, from what you're going to wear to what you're going to eat, it takes a toll on your ego or your willpower. Yeah. And the more of those decisions you make, the more toll is taken, the harder it is for you to make good decisions, because you get tired. And as you get more tired, you go for the easier, simpler, more appealing in the moment
least
option.
Resistance. Yeah.
You think less and less about future you and more about what present you feels like.
That's actually really true. When we're like exhausted, it's like, let's just go out and eat.
Okay. So when we were in the deep throes of getting the membership ready, and we were also working at the clinic for like 12 hours a day each, what were we doing at the end of the day to feed our family?
I don't even remember.
We got them pizzas. We got the kids the
cauliflower.
It was cauliflower crust, but it was pizza, right?
Yeah.
And we ate it once, and how did we feel?
Awful.
So bad. So bad. And
food hangover for like a day and a half.
And yet we did it twice that week.
Yeah.
So that we're not above this. We do this kind of thing all the time. But if we had removed all of the decision fatigue leading up to that and just the regular fatigue, it would have been easier for us to make a good decision. So meal prepping, meal planning, all of that helps a ton with just keeping your brain fresher and therefore more able to make good decisions that you will be proud of in the future.
Yep. There you go. Next, number 3. We're at number 3, right?
Yep.
Self-assessment.
Okay.
Right.
This one's awesome. And this is one that people don't really think about, because when was the last time you took a self-assessment? What does that even mean?
Right. People are like, what are you talking about?
If I were to tell you right now, okay, do a self-assessment, what would you do? You would like, I feel okay, or I feel not so good.
Yeah.
Not super helpful. But why would you want to do a more detailed self-assessment?
Why, Tristan? Are you asking me?
I was wondering if you had a thought on that.
I didn't. Okay. I'm waiting to see where you're going.
The reason why you would want to do that is because the more detailed you can get in how you are actually doing right now, the easier it is for you to figure out what will be helpful for you.
Right.
And really this comes down to another psychological principle. You didn't know this was actually a psychology episode, did you?
I didn't.
Well, you too, but I'm talking to them.
Oh. Okay, guys, it is 11:30 at night. So that's why I'm really slow with my replies right now.
So the psychology principle here is that I can't remember now because we changed the subject. But the more detailed we get with our assessment, the easier it is for us to decide what the next steps are supposed to be.
So right? where do people go to do a self-assessment?
Okay, so you are going to go to gutsy.ch/HAQ.
HAQ.
That stands for Health Assessment Questionnaire. It's like a 34, 40 questionnaire.
It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out.
Yeah, this is not our really detailed one. When we have people that we work with, our clients, we send them.
This is a different one.
We send them to like a 210 question questionnaire.
I thought that's the one you were talking about.
That's not the one I'm talking about because you actually don't get the results when you fill it out. And I don't necessarily want to chase down a whole bunch of people that fill this out to give them their results. So it won't be as helpful for them. But if you go do this one, the Health Assessment Questionnaire, which you can get to at gutsy.ch/HAQ, then you will get your results right off the bat. Plus, as you're filling it out, this is the psychology principle I forgot to talk about before. It's mindfulness. That's really all this is it's a structured way for you to be more mindful about how you are doing and how your health is going. Right. Because it's going to ask you questions in sections. It'll talk about your mental well-being, right? It'll talk about your physical kind of exercise well-being. And it'll take you through the whole list of stuff. And by the end of it, yes, you'll get a number that tells you generally like, here's how you're doing. But more importantly, you will have thought about all these different areas of your health in specific detail. And then you'll know like, okay, these are the things that I really need to focus on.
Yeah.
And then you have your game plan right there.
Yeah.
Right. It's up to you to do anything about it, but you've got to get started somewhere.
Right.
And if you're sitting there going, I know I need to do something, but I have no idea where to start.
This can help you focus.
Here's where to start. Start here.
Like gutsy.ch/HAQ.
HAQ, Hotel Alpha, Quebec.
Yep. Alrighty. Next this is my favorite. Do the baking soda test. Now, what does that mean?
All right. We've talked about this on the show before, but it was the digestion episode? Probably. Yeah. So we're going to talk about it again though, because this is one that everybody really ought to be doing it.
Everyone, because, and I say this a bajillion million times a week, if you're not digesting, you're not absorbing. If you're not absorbing, you are not healing. In fact, every doctor, every clinician, every practitioner should be looking at digestion first, in my honest opinion, because there's no point in taking supplements if you don't absorb them. There's no point in eating healthy food if you're not absorbing it and digesting it.
Yeah. Can I tell a story about that?
Yeah.
Because I worked with someone recently. I won't give any details, obviously, but this person was on so many supplements. And these were not like your generic like vitamin C supplements. These were very, very specific supplements like NADH or NAD plus or something like that, or like quercetin, right? You name it, like all these very specific things. And what had happened was this person was working with a more naturally minded practitioner, but all they had really done was looked at all of the individual symptoms in isolation from each other, and then said, well, what's the best supplement to help with this symptom? Oh, it's, you need more glutathione. So bam, there's glutathione. And then they looked at the next symptom. Oh, the thing that helps most with this is this thing. And as a result of that, not only was this person on like many, 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 many supplements, but they were feeling worse than ever.
Yeah.
They were feeling terrible.
Right.
And so we did it was a blood chemistry analysis. So we looked at all of their like general health stuff, and we got the underlying picture, which was that This person had terrible digestion. And in spite of the fact that they were taking upwards of 50 supplements,
that's a lot.
Not a single one of them addressed upper digestion.
Yeah.
Not a single one. So in
fact,
other words,
if you're listening here, has any doctor you've dealt with your digestion? Have they focused on digestion? Have they focused on absorption?
They may have. If you report heartburn, then they'll put you on a acid blocker.
Okay. Has anyone dealt with someone who has tried to address digestion without putting them on an acid blocker? Probably not.
I don't hear anyone. Well, so that must be a no. It must be a no.
I mean, like the 10 of you out there that are saying it's us, and then like the few thousand that are like, no, it's not.
Right. And it's
so important.
So in this person's case, not only were they not addressing the underlying issue, but they were actually contributing to the problem with all of these highly concentrated medications. Well, not medications, but supplements that they were on. And so what actually happened was they ended up taking themselves off the supplements shortly before our appointment. And so they had blood tests from 2 different points. One of them was a month earlier, and then one that they had done right before our appointment.
Yeah.
The earlier blood test while they were taking all the supplements was awful. Like the liver was a mess. The kidneys weren't looking good.
Yeah.
The thyroid was a disaster.
Yeah.
Right. The one right before they did the test, they'd been off the medication I keep calling them medications.
Supplements.
That's basically what they were. They'd been off the supplements for almost a month. Everything had started improving.
Yeah.
It was almost as if you can do more harm than good in some cases by just taking everything under the sun.
Yep. Right? A lot of the time, less is more.
So in spite of everything that has been going on for this person, and to be fair, like a lot of symptoms that go back a long, long time, all the way to adolescence.
Yeah.
My recommendations were let's take care of your digestion first. Let's figure out your stomach acid.
Totally.
And then let's see how far we can get before we jump into taking 10 different things.
Yep. You guys, I use this example on Instagram a lot, that your GI tract is like the root system in a tree. If the roots are sick and if they're not absorbing, the tree is sick.
Yeah.
So you have to take care of the roots. You have to take care of your digestion, of your GI tract. Like make sure it's working. Otherwise the tree is going to be sickly, and it doesn't matter what you eat because that root system is not absorbing it. You
can't throw tree food at the leaves of a tree and expect that it's going to thrive.
Right, exactly.
And unfortunately, that's how we often address health in the alternative world, just as much as in the conventional medicine world.
Exactly. So do the baking soda test. So what is the baking soda test? So the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda mixed with a 1/2 cup of water. So again, a 1/4 teaspoon.
That's not very much.
It's not a lot.
Don't do a 1/4 tablespoon or a quarter cup. That will make you feel really bad.
Really sick.
We've had people do that.
So don't do that. It's a 1/4 teaspoon and then you mix it together and it's the first thing to hit your stomach in the morning. Okay. So chug it and then time yourself. If you are burping, and we want like an impressive burp, not like just little bubbles, like impress yourself. If you are burping or do a burp within 2 to 3 minutes, then you probably have enough hydrochloric acid. Yep. If you haven't burped after 5 minutes, you can stop timing because you failed the test, and you want to do this for 3 mornings. Cause sometimes you get a false positive or a false negative the first time. So get your average. All right.
So I'll be honest, I don't always wait that long. Sometimes if people don't burp within 5 minutes, I will just jump straight to let's do something about it, because there's more assessment that comes with actually using the hydrochloric acid supplement. Right. But if you want to be sure, like if, for instance, you're very cost conscious and you don't want to buy a supplement that maybe you don't need, then do it a few days in a row and see how things turn out for you. Now, can I talk for a second about why the baking soda test is useful?
Yes.
Okay. So what should be happening when you do the baking soda test is that you should have lots of hydrochloric acid in your stomach. And when you drink down that baking soda water mixture, it creates a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
The baking soda plus hydrochloric acid creates water
and CO2,
salt, and CO2, carbon dioxide. That's a gas, which means that as it builds up, it's needing a place to escape to. And that's going to be through your mouth, a burp.
Yep.
Right. If you don't have hydrochloric acid in your stomach, there's no chemical reaction.
Right.
And that means no carbon dioxide production, no gas, no burp.
No burping.
And why does it matter if there's no hydrochloric acid in your stomach? Because that's the whole point of your stomach. That's why we have a stomach. It's our giant acid tub.
Yep. It's like, the acidity is like battery acid. And it basically like I can't say destroys, but it like tears to shreds proteins, right? Like that's its primary job.
In particular, proteins. Yeah.
I mean, it like breaks down all your foods because it's acidic and it's acid, but like proteins like primarily proteins is the thing that is to be broken down. And why do we need to break down proteins? Well, if you want to heal, you need to break down proteins so you can reabsorb them.
If you don't want to get sicker, you need to break down proteins because they're super inflammatory if they stay intact when they get into your small intestine.
If you want to absorb B vitamins, you need to break down your proteins. You need to break down your fiber. If you want to absorb your food, you need to break it down into smaller pieces. If you don't want heartburn, you need hydrochloric acid. If you want your gallbladder to function properly, you need a robust release of hydrochloric acid. If you want your pancreas to be signaled to release enzymes, you need a robust release of hydrochloric acid. And what are some things that decrease hydrochloric acid content? Well, stress, age, stress,
refined carbohydrates.
Exactly. This is the reason why your 16-year-old child can eat an entire pizza and then go for a run right after. And then you eat a slice of pizza and you have like heartburn and indigestion and you're going to throw up.
Fewer and fewer kids seem to be able to get away with that these days.
I know.
When I was growing up, like we used to pound pizzas and we were totally fine. But it seems like now maybe it's just because of what we do for a living.
I think so.
So we're interacting with the kids that are struggling more. But man, it seems like people are having a harder and harder time.
Maybe.
And I think that's, kind of gets to the societal issues that we have.
Right.
But yeah, so there's all these things. Did you mention birth control as being something that decreases stomach acid?
I did not.
Birth control can.
Soda.
So if all we looked at is your stress levels, then like 70% of you probably have low stomach acid because stress these days is problematic, right? The world is losing its mind collectively. So do the baking soda test. 95 out of 100 of you are probably not going to have a good result from that. And so what do you do next? Okay.
What do you do next?
Here's what you do next. That's what I meant.
I am not all here today, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like, keep going, Tristan.
This is what you get from us. Okay. We're just people. We're parents.
I know. We're very tired.
We record late at night after the kids finally go to bed and we finally have answered some of our emails that are backlogged. So here's what you do. If your results come back poorly, generally speaking, you probably need some hydrochloric acid support. Now, our personal preferences on how to accomplish this are to use Zypan from Standard Process. And there's a couple of really good reasons for it. One, it is really tiny little tablets, which makes it very easy for us to get a precise dose because not everyone needs the same amount of hydrochloric acid. Just because you fail the baking soda test, if that's the right word for it, doesn't mean that you're going to be on the same dose as, the 3 other people that fail it. One of them is going to need a ton of extra hydrochloric acid. One of you is only going to need a teeny tiny bit. So having these little tiny tablets makes it so that we can help you get exactly where you need to be with it. The other thing we love about Zypan is that it also has pancreatic enzymes that are activated by the hydrochloric acid. Pepsin being one of them, right? So it's not just acidity that helps to break down foods. It's also enzymes that help to get even more granular so that our body has better access to all of those nutrients and micronutrients inside of the food.
There you go.
So you get sort of the perfect little scenario with the Zypan. And that's what we recommend for that. If you want to get that, can we tell them? Are we allowed to tell them how to get it from us?
gutsy.ch/Zypan. Right?
So
ZYPAN.
That's right. ZYPAN.
Dosing is like everything though, guys. Like the right dose is going to make you and the wrong dose is going to break you. So you want to dose slow and steady and just like increase it what we say is start with 1 for a few days and then up it to 2 for a few days, then up it to 3 until you feel like you're digesting, your heartburn's down, like your indigestion's gone, the bloat and gassiness has decreased. You know, when you're taking too much, when you start getting feelings of like warm belly, heartburn. So like too little hydrochloric acid and too much hydrochloric acid are the same symptoms.
Yeah.
So just be really, really mindful and just go slow.
As soon as you've hit that point of discomfort, you know that you've gone too far. So go down a little bit and bam, you found your amount.
Exactly.
Here's the deal though. Just because you find your specific dose doesn't mean that you stick to that religiously.
Exactly.
This is something that you need to look at as kind of like fuel, I guess. Determine how much fuel you're going to need depending on what you're eating and how much you're eating.
So for instance, if you're eating a massive steak, you'll probably need more Zypan. If you're eating an apple and some nut butter, you probably won't need that much.
Right.
So if you're going out to eat, you'll probably need more. And if you're eating at home, you'll probably need less. So it's fluid. You want to be really intimate with your Zypan, guys.
Yeah. If your stress levels spike, then you're
you'll
probably
need
going to
more.
need more.
Totally.
If you are like on vacation and you know you're going to be eating a lot of processed foods, you'll probably need more.
Exactly.
So think of it like that, you know, like how much do I need based on what my scenario is, and then dose it accordingly.
Exactly. Now, people that won't do well with Zypan, if you have ulcers, do not take Zypan. You have to heal the ulcer first before you take the acid tablets, basically, because that's really what it is. You don't want to like throw acid on like a gaping wound.
Yeah,
right?
don't chew these. It will destroy your tooth enamel.
And don't do that either. Right. Should we go into number 5?
Let's move on. Are we on number 5?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think so. This might be a short episode. You're going to have to look at the list because I forgot what number 5 was. We have like a long list here. Because remember we were going to do 10?
You didn't number them?
I did not.
So does that mean I get to do all of them?
No. Maybe we should talk about sleeping, although we've spoken about sleeping before.
We did a whole thing on sleep, and you all know you need more.
I know. I mean, the obvious things, guys: sleep, exercise, get outside, get some vitamin D. You know, one of the things that we put on there was like physical touch, like be around people. Like all the things that keep you alive and sane, like keep doing that stuff. Okay.
Well, I don't remember what we agreed on, so I'm just going to pick the one that I think that everyone needs to take very seriously.
Okay.
Turn off the TV.
Oh, yes.
We talked about this one in our last week's episode.
Facebook. Yeah.
But seriously, get off of media.
Yeah.
Especially media that's discussing current events, because it's cool to know what's going on in the world. I don't want to say ignorance is really the best way to go, but there's a limit to how much you need to know. Right. And most of us crossed that limit a long time ago. And now it's just causing us to die a little bit inside every day.
Who's that comedian on YouTube? JP something. He always JP Sears. He's like a silly little hippie guy, and he makes fun of crunchy people. But he came out with what was it called? How to be an idiot or something.
How to be even more of an idiot.
How to be more of an idiot. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of his, I think it's like number 3, he says, get your news from the news.
Right.
And he says, you know, we all know that the news is bought and paid for by these corporations wanting to spew out some kind of, you know, so definitely get your news there. Right. And so guys, like, I mean, I don't know.
But here's the thing. Even if your news source is the good one, like even if you happen to know the one media channel that does it right and tells only the truth, it's not necessarily serving you to get soaked in that all day long,
right?
Or all night long.
Actually, what you should do is listen to our last podcast episode where we talk about broken systems and what was it called?
I don't even know.
It was information censoring and broken systems, something like that.
Information censorship.
It was the episode before this one. So go and listen to that and just, you know, maybe that will open your eyes a little bit to the systems that are in play right now that we are all sucked into and we are all victims of. And really do your own research is what we're saying. Don't let the media tell you who is right and who is wrong. Like figure that out for yourself and do your own research.
I would take it even further and say, like, it's okay to not have to know the answer. It's okay to not have to form an opinion right now, and maybe just go and live your life in the present moment.
Right.
Because there's a whole world out there, a whole universe of things to experience that don't depend on whether you are liberal or conservative, or whether you are pro-mask or anti-mask, right? Go out in nature, go out and be with your friends, be with your family.
Yeah.
If you feel the need, then do it with a safe social distance.
Yeah.
But just go and do it.
Have some boundaries with technology.
Yeah.
Like major boundaries. Only watch. I mean, you wouldn't say, hey, I'm in an abusive relationship with someone, but it's okay for me to spend as much time with them as possible.
Right.
So do the same thing with your technology. Like, it can be an abusive relationship. It can pull you down. It can make you feel sick. Why would you spend more time engaging with that? Right.
Yeah.
Like, just turn it off.
There's nothing wrong with saying no to that and protecting your mental well-being.
Exactly.
Okay. If you have to be selfish, if that's the label that you're going to give yourself for not being immersed in that and just turning it all off and being present with yourself, then be selfish. That's okay. You deserve that. Right? You deserve to feel good, and you deserve to spend your time doing things and engaging with things that make you feel good.
Yep.
No one is more important than your own well-being.
Exactly.
So prioritize that.
Exactly.
Okay. You don't owe anything to anyone when it comes to what you pay attention to.
Exactly.
So that's number 5, it turns out.
Yeah. We're done.
Well, no, because we have to get back to our original point, which is the membership.
Okay.
We need to tell people how they can learn about it and how they can join it.
Well, people need to understand why it was created. Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys why we created this membership, because there was something, and I've mentioned this in a previous episode, where, I have people come in and the answers to their health healing journey is so obvious to me. It's like, it couldn't be more obvious even if we tried. But relaying the information, relaying the homework, relaying the changes that they needed to make in an hour and a half wasn't enough time.
Right.
And there wasn't enough bandwidth, and so people would leave the office with that deer in the headlights look.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, I just got blasted with information and I'm exhausted. I need to take a nap for a week.
And believe it or not, we wouldn't see them again.
Right.
I don't know why.
Because it's super overwhelming, because people, and here's the thing, guys, if you are considering getting a consult with us, please know what you're in for. Okay. And I say this all the time, 2% of the work is us and you coming to see us. 98% of the work is you and what you do in the kitchen.
Exactly. It's going to be what you do after the consultation with us, because it doesn't matter how amazing the testing is or what magical thing it reveals. The end result for you is work.
Exactly. It's a lot of work. Okay. And a lot of people, and we see this a lot, people come to us and they want a supplement. It's kind of like going to a doctor and wanting a drug. And we are not in that business. Yes, we sell supplements. We sell them and we tell people to take them if we see a dire need for it.
Right.
But if you see the product sales that we make the most sales in, it's digestive aids.
It's Zypan.
I'm pretty sure Zypan is like our number 3 bestseller behind Cecilia's face cream.
Yeah.
And then CBD is like number 1. So CBD, Cecilia's face cream, Zypan.
Probably.
And Zypan just flies off of the shelves because digestion is so important. But going back to my original point of healing, you got to take responsibility for your healing, right? You have to do the work. So Carlin Call, she is Just Ingredients Online. And I've said this like in millions of episodes. I love this analogy where she says, if you have a building that is on fire, you're not just going to take one hose to that building. You're going to take as many as possible to get that fire out as fast as possible, right? But what if there is someone behind that building we have 10 hoses on that fire, but there's someone on the other side who is throwing gas canisters in that building, right? How much healing is really happening?
None.
And so
maybe negative.
So people come to us and we say, okay, here's your fire hoses, but look at your gas canisters. getting these gas canisters out of your life is going to take a lot of mental work and like physical energy.
Yeah.
And people don't want to do that. Right. All right. So if you are ready, if you're like, I'm ready to get rid of the gas canisters, come and talk to us.
Right.
If you want one single hose on your fire that won't put out that fire because you're still throwing on gas, don't come see us. All right. Or you can, but you might be wasting your time and your money. Right. Because we're going to point out the gas canisters. Right. And then we're going to say, okay, here's your fire hoses, and like stop feeding the fire with this type of gas and this type of gas.
Now, we do try to be very careful about not fire hosing you in the face, if that makes sense. In the sense of,
I never do that.
Well, so
I'm just kidding.
here's what I mean is that, yes, at the end of our consults, what we're going to try to do is give you, okay, here's your next steps. Yeah. Right? We're not just going to throw 20 things at you and say, okay, go figure it out.
We try to be very gentle. Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we have gone through several different iterations of what we were trying to accomplish before we got to the point of the membership. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first thing that you tried to do to help people?
What was it?
You would give them like specific foods. Like you would literally write out lists of, here are all the foods that you need to get. Do you remember that? It didn't last very long because it was like not very time effective.
I don't remember that. Anyways.
So it didn't work. So the next thing was you started creating meal plans for people.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right? You remember that part, right?
Yes.
And so Janique created these meal plans. They were awesome meal plans, and she would give them to people who came in to do the hair analyses. And we thought, yes, this is it. We figured it out. Mm-hmm. Now people have everything they need. They know exactly what to make. They know what ingredients to buy. They know when to make it. We're set. But no.
It was like 1 in 10 people would actually use the meal plan.
We still weren't getting results from it. And it wasn't because the meal plans weren't working. The meal plans were awesome. People just weren't using them.
And there's a reason why. Because of the mental fatigue.
Right.
Right. Because of like, it's not just food. You're not just changing food, guys. Mm-hmm. You're changing a lifestyle.
You're changing your mind.
You're changing your mind, your emotional triggers, your like food is comfort food. Food is social. Mm-hmm. Food is like, there is so much muscle memory in food. I mean, birthday parties, Christmases, Easter holidays, Halloweens, 4th of July, you know, like you are celebrating with family, fun, and food. All right. So when you come to me and I'm like, okay, that's going to look different from here on out if you want to heal.
Right.
People would people are saying yes to me, but like their body and their soul is saying no. And that's okay. All right. Like I want you to know that making lifestyle changes is really hard, and you got to give yourself some grace and realize
what's that song you love?
I don't know.
My mind is saying no, but my body.
I don't know that song.
Saying yes. You don't? You used to sing that all the time.
No, I didn't.
Anyway.
Who used to sing that song to you? No.
Okay. So anyway, there's a song out there. You probably know it. If you're listening to this, you probably have heard that song. My mind is saying no, but my body is saying yes. That is what happens to people. And then their mind gets tired. And so they end up giving in.
Yes.
They say, okay, this is an exception. This is a time when it's okay for me to cheat. And pretty soon you've got 5 of those a week.
Right.
And before you know it, you're eating unhealthy more often than you're eating healthy.
So bottom line was, it wasn't the meal plans.
Right.
It was the lifestyle. It was the mentality. It was the psychology. Right.
So then we had to get even, I should say Janique, because she did all of the figuring out of this problem.
This is one of the things where I lay up at night thinking about it. And I'm like, how do I help people overcome this? Because if you think of something that keeps you up at night, guys, what is it? Because this was like these were my demons. I'm like, I am failing people. Like I am not helping them. Like I want to help them and I can see the answers as clear as daylight. And I don't know how to get that message across to them.
Information wasn't enough.
Right.
Meal plans weren't enough. So the next iteration was the first membership, right?
The first membership. Yes.
And it was awesome. And in fact, it was very effective.
It was.
Because it gave them more than just the answers. It gave them the support system.
Right.
right?
The support, the answers, like a little bit of a community.
They had a bit of a community feel so that they weren't alone, and they knew they weren't alone.
Right.
They had access to us so that they could get support when they had questions and things. And then of course they had the incredible meal plans.
Right.
And people got incredible results with it.
Yeah.
They loved what they were getting, but it still wasn't enough.
Right.
We were still having lots of people who would get in, they would maybe stick around for a week or two, and then the overwhelm would kick in again.
Right.
And bam, they were gone.
Yep.
And why was that?
I don't know. I think I
have an idea.
Why?
And I think it's the reason why you did the version 2.
Why?
And that's that it still wasn't thorough enough.
Right.
We still weren't bringing in enough hoses. We still weren't getting rid of enough gas cans. And so tell them about what is different in this revamped version that is so much better.
So yes, you still get the meal plans. Now there's a bigger community. Instead of just being Facebook, we have a private Instagram too. But I have created with my team a workbook. And so every week you have a workbook, you have videos that you get to watch, and it's trickled out to you weekly. So you're not being like thrown into like a ocean of information.
Yep.
And so you print out the worksheets. It's your cheat sheets too, right? Like you get lists of like the best organic products on Amazon, Thrive Market, or just online, and it's like, this is the best that I could find. And so it takes the guessing out of it, right? Yep. We talk about the importance of soaking nuts and seeds, legumes, beans, that kind of stuff. Why do you need to soak them? Right? Because a lot of people are like, well, why is this important? Or someone can be eating beans and getting inflamed. And it's like, well, you might just need to soak it. Right. But they didn't know that.
Right.
That might have taken them years to figure that out and put 2 and 2 together. And so basically it's, again, going back to the workbook, like you get your handouts, you print them out, you put them in a binder, and then you just keep referring to it like a little dictionary, like a nutrition dictionary of the basics. But here's the thing is you have to know the basics in order to become an advanced, like, advocate for your health.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're fluttering around from trying to find a solution in all of these things that are just halfway there. All right. So know the basics inside out and you will become an expert.
Right. So that's half of the value, which is it's an awesome reference guide.
Right.
But the other half is that we have taken this massive process of transforming your world from the conventional unhealthy world you used to be in to the super healthy and health conducive world that you want to be in.
Right.
And it is now divided into very manageable bite-sized steps. Okay. So you don't have to drag yourself from A to B over a mountain.
Right.
You now have a very gentle path through the
step
mountain.
by step. And it's 6 months for a reason, guys, because it's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in 2 months. It's not going to happen in 3 months. Like it's going to take a while. And there's a lot of information and all the information isn't even in the workbooks. Like there's going to be a lot of information leaked out to you in the Instagram, in the lives, in the Q&As, but in again, the experts.
The information isn't what transforms you. It's the application. And the workbook is so great because it helps you apply it little bits at a time.
Right.
You are literally training yourself to be a superhero in terms of your health.
Right.
And that's irreplaceable.
Totally.
It's incredible.
During like membership 1.0, I learned really fast that I had to give people with the menu plans, there had to be a super simple menu plan and then like an intermittent fasting and then the full menu plan. So it was going from easy, medium, hard, right? And so people entering, I always tell them start with the super simple because it's stupid simple, right?
Well, but you're not stupid if you
No. Okay. Rewind. Let's edit that out. I don't know.
I'm joking. Stupid simple as in like incredibly simple.
Really simple, right? And so if you could do that, if that's the only thing you did, that menu plan, like you are 60% there. right? And then just practice that until it feels easy. And then you go to the intermittent fasting. And then you fill in the gaps, right? And then when that feels easy, then you can go to the full menu plan, right? And so it's just baby steps. It's stuff that it's the information I wish I could convey in my consults. It's the information that I just wished I could like download from my brain into their brain. And
and now we're getting that.
Yeah.
Like now that's going to be available. And here's what's cool. Like, yes, you have to make an upfront commitment and that is a good thing because that is what starts you on the journey.
Yeah.
And that's, kind of what we're asking you to do right now, which is commit yourself to actually going through this change that's going to make your life so much better for years and years and years and your children's lives better for the rest of their lives.
Right.
But as soon as you've done that, you don't have to then stay committed to the end product. You just have to commit to the next step at that point, which is I'm going to do whatever the first thing in the workpbook is.
And guess what that is?
What is it?
It's the pantry clean out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
What a coincidence.
Clean out that pantry, like declutter.
Yeah.
Actually, the very first thing I have people do is answer their why.
Exactly.
Why
That's
are
the
you
real
here?
start.
Why are we even embarking on this journey? Why are you wanting to change your life?
There's a reason why people give us money for the program. And that reason may not be fully conscious to them when they start it, but they know there is something deep inside of them that is saying, we need this. This is the thing that's going to change everything. And then this workbook helps you put words to that so that it's no longer just this vague instinct. It's actually like, oh, I can tell you what this is. And in the difficult moments, I can go back to this to give myself strength so that I don't give up.
Exactly.
The way that many people have done so many times in the past.
Right. And here's the thing is like, even if you do give up, it's okay because you still have the information and you can restart again.
Absolutely.
Like you need to take a break, you take a break. Here's the thing is healing has to happen on your timeline, on your turf, right? And not my timeline, not my expectations. It's your body, your rules. So if you need to take 2 years to heal yourself, awesome.
Right.
If you want to do it in 6 months, awesome.
Absolutely.
It's going to look very different. But the information is to just guide you along so that you can make that decision.
Right.
All right. So that you have the tools to say, okay, this is my party and this is how I'm designing it. All right. This is my healing journey and this is how I'm going to go about it. Not, okay, what did my doctor say I should do right now? Okay, maybe I'll implement that. It's like, no. You now know the things. What are you going to implement first now?
Yeah.
All right. Like you become the expert because when people come to me and, and they want to supplement, it's not that simple.
Right.
Like, it's so complex and there's so many moving parts to a healing journey. So many factors
and layers. By the way. Like just because you resolve the thing that's up for you right now, doesn't mean that you should be 100% healthy.
Oh man.
Because then the next layer shows up.
Exactly.
And you have a whole other ball game to play.
But when you know the basics, when you're hit with that second layer or that fifth layer or that 20th layer, you're not going to be overwhelmed.
Right.
You're going to be like, oh yeah, I know what to do here. I know how to take care of this. I know what digestive enzymes I need to do. I know it's because I ate these inflammatory oils in this healthy snack that I thought was healthy, but really wasn't. So again, knowing the basics makes you an expert down the line.
Exactly.
So that you won't need to rely on other people anymore.
Right.
That all you need is you.
Our goal is to create an army of self-empowered health pros.
Yeah.
We want there to be 1 million people just like us out there making decisions for themselves and acting as a resource for the world around them to get healthier.
Exactly.
And this is how you start that. This like people ask us all the time, where do I start? I love what you guys do. I want to do something similar. Where do I start? Start here. Get the basics down.
Get the basics down. Exactly. There was a quote, I'm going to slay this so badly, from Conversations with God. And it talks about leaders, right? And they say that the best leader is one that creates other leaders. It's not, isn't that great?
Yeah.
And that like really resonated, like that struck me hard. And I'm not your guru, guys. Like this podcast is not your guru.
Thanks,
Tristan is not
Tony
your
Robbins.
guru. You're welcome. like you are your guru, right? Like
absolutely.
you are the one that takes back your power and has to figure it out.
And ultimately your inner guru knows all of the answers. You just have to get all of the garbage out of the way that blocks you from hearing those answers.
Well, thank you, Eckhart Tolle.
I can't do the accent, so it doesn't work.
But anyways, I mean, what you could do if you don't want to do the program is hire a doctor full-time to figure it out for you. And that'll be like $100,000 a year, but I'm just joking. I know. Is it? I'm just kidding. But, healing is it's a full-time job. And so how do we make that feel less daunting? Well, we just turn you into an expert.
Yeah.
And help you figure it out.
It's also a lifetime endeavor.
Yeah.
Even if you get perfectly healthy tomorrow, you're still going to have to maintain your health for the rest of your life.
There you go.
And luckily, once you get there, healing or staying healthy is easy. Yeah. Health is simple. Yes. Disease is complicated.
Disease is really complicated.
That's a book.
Yep, it is. So, you guys, before we jet off, so just to give you a discount for the program, if you want to join it, if you're like, you know what, I am ready.
Here's the deal though. This is only for the people who listen to our episodes like really soon after they come out.
Right.
Because if you're listening to this a month later or even like 3 weeks later, it's already going to be over.
Yeah.
So don't get mad at us. This is like an early bird special for our super fans who listen as soon as our episodes go live.
Exactly. So if you want, what is the discount? So the program is $300. It's $299.
Yeah, $299
for 6 months, and you get the full shebang, like the meal planners, the workbook, the Instagram, the Facebook, the interviews that we're going to be doing there. For just this week, if you use, what's the code?
Let's make one up.
Podcast 20.
Podcast 20.
So if you use the code podcast 20, you will get 20% off for just this week. All right.
That'll bring the price down to what?
Don't ask me to do math. It's $240.
$243, isn't it? $243?
No. Anyways, it's around $240.
Okay.
It's like
you'll
midnight.
have to find out when they put the discount code in.
So put podcast 20 to get 20% off. All right. And if you want to join the membership, if you want to join the online tribe, we would love to have you. I'm on there a lot more. I'm actually stepping out of the clinic for a little bit so that I can focus more on the membership and get really incredible content out to you guys. Because like I said, 2% of the work is in the clinic and 98% is at home. I want to help you with that 98%.
Yeah.
I want to get the information to you so that you can make that 98% of healing super stellar, so that when it comes to your burning building, you know exactly what hoses you need to put on your fire, and you can identify what your gas canisters are. Get rid of those gas canisters, because it's just as important as putting the hoses on the fire.
And then learn to recognize hoses and gas canisters in the future.
Exactly.
So that they don't get into your home unless you invite them.
There you go. Before we head off, can I share with you guys something that one of the members shared with us that I thought was really cool?
Yeah.
So this is Crystal from Canada. And she goes, "Hi guys, I'm a personal trainer and an owner of a construction company. I have had ulcerative colitis since I was 9 years old and diagnosed only 2 years ago. It's been a rough couple years. Doctors and healthcare have had zero help. I have had to advocate for myself, and they have fought me every step of the way." We hear that a lot, you guys. I want to heal with nutrition. I have also hired coaches and nutritionists, and nada. I found the Gutsy Health podcast and absolutely fell in love with Tristan and Janique. And hold on, sorry. The doctor had me on Humira. Did I say that right? Humira, a serious biological drug that's $3,000 a month. It didn't work, and I wanted off, and they pressed for me to stay on. After listening to the podcast, I realized I don't have to listen to anyone, as it's my body and I should follow my intuition, and I shouldn't just listen to the doctors because they, and she puts there in quotations, know more than me.
I love that.
I know, right? The doctor also told me that diet and exercise has nothing to do with the disease though. Ooh. She goes, "I know food and nutrition is the biggest part for me. Anyways, I'm off Humira and so happy to be here.
That's fantastic.
Isn't that so awesome, Crystal? We love you. Welcome to the membership. I cannot wait to hear more of your story and share it with our members. That's another thing we're doing is members that have healed themselves, we're going to be interviewing them so that all the other members can learn from them, because really that's what a community does. We learn from each other. We push each other up.
That's right.
Right? We share our secrets.
We give each other hope. We give each other support. We make it easier for everybody to do what we're trying to do.
There you go.
So one last time, that code is podcast20. It'll give you 20% off. You have to choose the 6-month option. So you're paying for the whole thing up front to get this. And it's only going to be good through the end of May.
Okay.
So
there you go.
As soon as it becomes June, this code no longer works. Once again, don't get mad at us if you listen to this too late.
We still love you.
It's still a really great deal. $300 for what we're offering here is awesome.
Exactly.
So, there you go.
There you go. I hope you guys learned something new and fun, and definitely implement, what was the 5 things? the 5 things that make you healthier. I forgot what the title was.
Yeah, well, we actually haven't decided on a title, so you'll see.
You'll see. I'll see when the podcast comes out.
That's right.
Thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for your wonderful reviews, your 5-star ratings. We really love it. We really appreciate it.
Hey.
We love it when you share the podcast with your friends on social media.
Thanks for your 1-star and your 3-star ratings, because they just push us to spread our message even faster and harder.
Oh, man.
So thank you for lighting the fire that keeps us going.
We love you guys. Thanks for always listening, always your positive feedback and the negative feedback.
And thanks for sharing us with the people you care about.
Really?
That it means more to us than just about anything else in the world.
We've always just wanted to share this message of self-empowerment, that you are the expert, and it's catching on like wildfire, guys. And I freaking love it.
Yes.
This just like lights me up when people start to wake up and they realize, you know what? I don't need permission from a doctor to heal myself.
That's right.
I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make changes, even though he said it didn't matter. Because you guys, Crystal from Canada, she is a perfect example of that. And I get lots of messages like that every week. And thank you for sharing your stories with us, your life stories and your healing journeys. That really, it's just beautiful. It's music to my ears.
Yep.
Until next time, have a good week, guys.
We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.